Hello, my name is Questline, and this is a complete, in-depth guide towards the hidden tech of AC Shadow's movement. This video will be focused on Naoe, as she is the more parkour focused out of the two protagonists, but if this video gains some traction, I will do one for Yasuke, as well as maybe a combat and stealth guide. I will mainly be speaking about tech regarding how to trigger different animations depending on your input, because as we all know, parkour in AC Shadows isn't very hard, but hopefully this video can help with the extrinsic motivation to just look cool. Stick around to the end of the video to see a parkour route where I use all of the tips from this video, and this video will also be divided between the different parkour actions you can do, so feel free to check the timestamps to skip ahead if you, for example, only want to see the section about vaulting. There are three different types of flips you can do in AC Shadows. An X flip, or a jump flip, a circle flip, or a descent flip, and a high profile circle flip, or a dive flip. An X flip is triggered by holding X when approaching a ledge. This flip is dependent on height, as you cannot be too high up. The X flip is part of an animation moveset, also including a regular jump, meaning that holding X for a flip is an unreliable way to trigger the animation that you want. The most important thing to note for an X flip is that the object or surface you're planning to land on has to be lower than the one you are currently standing on, as you will otherwise just trigger a regular stride jump. See that they are on the same height. You can use the X flip to land on all objects and surfaces, including poles, ropes, and fences. Holding or pressing X when running off of a high ledge will trigger a free fall jump, characterized by this animation. The free fall jump is caused by the game not being able to recognize a sticking point below. It is recommended to roll out of these drops, as they are most often triggered by a jump high enough to cause you fall damage. But how do you trigger manual rolls in AC Shadows? Well, first of all, you must unlock the Egan roll skill from the Shinobi Mastery Tree. It is preferable to unlock the second version of this skill as well, as this will cause the roll to look way more stylish, as well as preserve your momentum. AC Shadows handles rolls much like AC Origins did, but instead of pressing descent in Origins, you held your jump button. How you knew that a jump was rollable in Origins was a jump like this. In Shadows, however, all jump animations are the same regardless of height if you do not count the freefall jump. So how do you know if you can roll out of a regular jump or an X flip? You can tell most of the time if the drop is high enough by the small amount of airtime Naoe gets at the end of an animation. Look at these two clips. The right one, which has a higher drop, has longer airtime. When her feet touches the ground on the left clip, she is still in the air in the right clip. This goes for all of her flips as well. A few extra frames of airtime. Press descent. Arms extended to the side for an extended period of time. Well, press descent. Now this looks frame perfect, but it is a lot easier to both visually and audibly judge during flowing gameplay. Or, you could just spam descent on every drop. A descent flip is the game's intended way to descend. It is triggered by approaching a ledge and pressing the circle button, causing Naoe to do a stylish flip down from the surface she was standing on. This input can be triggered from anything, from a pole, a ledge, or a rope, as long as the drop isn't too high, as this will cause Naoe to go into a hang instead. You will trigger all of her usual animations when standing on a rope, pole, or right on the edge of a building, but pressing the inputs a bit earlier than at the edge will cause Naoe to always do a one-handed flip down. An unknown piece of tech is that you can do a descent using Naoe's regular dodge. If you look in the opposite direction of the ledge, stand just in front of it and press the dodge input, you will do another type of descent roll. This has to be on a drop low enough for you to do a regular descent flip, or you will otherwise go into an overhang. You cannot, under any circumstances, roll out of any type of descent flip or dodge descent. Although this system is contextual, needing Naoe to be a specific height to the object she wants to land on, this system is the closest thing to the controlled descent input from Unity and Syndicate that we have gotten in a very long time, and it is a great way to descend multiple stories fluidly and rapidly. A high-profile circle flip, or a dive flip, is triggered by pressing or holding the sprint button and then tapping the descent button. You can use this on ledges to dive off the surface you are standing on and go into a free fall animation. The dive flip is one of those moves which you want to be able to use effectively. It was featured a bunch in the promotional material for the game, although I haven't personally seen a lot of the parkour showcases use this move. This may be because it is super inconsistent in the kinds of spots you would want to use it. If you press descent while running too close to another ledge, for example, you will do a regular descent flip down that ledge. Additionally, you have to be at running speed for her to dive. Otherwise, she will just do her regular dodge into the invisible wall at the edge. Including this, most houses and buildings in the game has this centerpiece, which the game treats as a rope, which causes Naoe to go into a different moveset. This causes all of your momentum to drop away. Although, when you can get these things to work, they look so freaking cool. Much like Odyssey and Valhalla, AC Shadows uses manual vaulting, although its approach to vaulting is more akin to Mirage, where if you ran towards a vaultable object and held the parkour up/jump button, you would vault over it. Shadows works a little differently. You only have to be sprinting for Naoe to vault over any obstacle. You do not have to be fully sprinting, you need to have only pressed sprint before reaching the object. You can also vault over objects by holding descent next to the object and moving towards it. In AC Shadows, there are two different animations for an overhang. A cartwheel into overhang, AC Shadows' new edition, and the regular overhang from previous AC games. For an overhang to trigger, you need to be standing completely still on the ledge, especially on drops low enough for you to descent flip down. Otherwise, the game will recognize it as you trying to do a descent flip, which could lead to some complications, especially in stealth. To trigger a cartwheel overhang, the ledge has to be on a higher drop than what is possible to descent flip down. Additionally, you want to press descent before reaching the edge, like with the one-handed descent flip. Now, I will show you the same parkour route in two different clips. One where I use the tips from this video, and one where I just hold down the parkour up button throughout. Comment down below if you can spot which one is which.
Easiest way to stay safe is to stay hidden. or raise the alarm if they see me.
And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Considering this is my first ever video, please consider maybe writing some pointers in the comments on what you liked or what you didn't like with the editing or maybe the style in which this video is made. And please drop this video a like so I know that I can make the stealth and combat guide as well as the movement guide for Yasuke. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Peace.